That way for previous.
Like my,
And I keep thinking I've got so I just left the car. I don't have it here.
you don't have to worry about it, right?
Right? Where is you? Some of these deals that I'll be having. I just having a conversation with the citizen about that today. It's like our smartphones, boy, made us dumber. How you define that?
Good evening. Welcome to the Yreka City Council meeting for September 19th, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, council members. Okay. And ready, you'll note that Councilman Baker will not be here tonight. She was absent. Okay. Great. We'll move on to item number 2 on the agenda. This is the special presentations and or announcement. This time slot is for informational presentations, appointments, and or awards to be presented by the city council to the city council. Mr. Ledbetter.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll have 2 special presentations this evening. The first one will come from our Fire Chief Jerry Lemus, the introduction of a new volunteer firefighter.
And just a reminder to have everybody silence their cell phones for me, please. I always forget to mention that. Thank you.
I usually do. That's why I missed it.
Okay. Good evening, Chief Lemus.
All right. Never got to use this before. Now I feel taller. See, if I'd been like that, Coach, I could have done some good back in the day. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you for your attention to our special presentation this evening, also to the citizens of Yreka in attendance. Tonight, I'd like to present our latest volunteer, which is his name is Dalton Landrum. I know Councilmember McCoy, he's aware of this young man and he vouches for him. So, and I will as well. Obviously, he's it's not a easy thing to join our department. We're pretty picky about who we take, but I'd like to introduce him tonight and he'll be on consent agenda for appointment. So give him a round of applause. Yeah, he's been very attentive and attending trainings and meetings and so forth, and he'll be a great addition to our department. And he has his family with him tonight, so a special occasion for sure.
Yeah, would you like to take some photos, or would you like to have him come down? And
sure.
I think normally we generally like to send them through the promenade of shaking hands with all the city council members. And
yes, great. Thank you for joining.
Appreciate that. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
thank you very much. And if you don't mind, I'd love to get a photo with the chief here. Do your parents want to come down? Get up there on the photo and we'll send it out to Chief Lima.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks again.
Okay, so I'm still up. I'm still at the plate. Haven't struck out yet. So I wanted to address the council this evening and the public for that matter. As I have stated before, and you're probably aware, the issues facing volunteers these days is pretty steep with the number of calls we run. Like I said, we're only second in call volume to CAL FIRE for the whole county. So, and it's just the training that is required, and all the other things that we do as a department becomes very difficult. So going forward, the way I see, in fact, I thought about it today. It's like I get called all the time for fire marshal questions, and you have to go research things. And this is one I don't have to research how to fix this. The volunteer base is shrinking nationwide. We all know that. We're lucky to get even one, every so often, which we've had two in the last couple meetings. So we're fortunate in that regard. However, they're difficult to find and it's hard to retain them. So going forward, my thought, and I think you are all aware that there's plans in place to get a tax initiative of 1% sales tax down the road for paid staff and also for construction of a new fire station. And those go hand in hand. In fact, it's almost, in my mind, more important for paid staff, so we have folks to man that, or to have personnel in the station once it's built. Because we're having a problem with folks staying motivated, and not that a new station is going to be the only thing, but we'll have to manage the paid staff, hypothetically the paid staff and the volunteers with great care in order to retain our volunteers. But getting up at 3 a.m. for medicals, it's taken its toll on our volunteers over the years, and I can attest to that. When I used to run more, now we have a dedicated staff, of 4 to 5, a core group that do that now. So anyhow, I just encourage you to get the word out, and then also an educational campaign to let people know. I think a lot of folks are misinformed that we are a paid department, and we're not fully paid. So it's imperative that we get the right information out there. And I've also discussed this with our volunteer staff too, that come with your questions, and that the public has, because I think people are going to be misinformed if if it's just left a chance. So anyway, I'd be happy to take any questions you have, but I just wanted to make that make you aware of what's going on in our world. And we're way behind the times in that for such a busy department. So I'd like to see community support garnered prior to the November 24 election, and that's going to take a lot of work. We're definitely up to the task. So anyway, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, now we will have the Siskiyou Economic Development Council quarterly report. We have Corey Hayden and Quentin Gaddy here tonight.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having Quentin and I this evening just to share a few updates. Quentin will have some of the most exciting news to share today. Just my report will be a little bit baseline, a little regular, but we are proud to hold an economic development strategy with the cities and county together. A lot of times we come in and we report and we share about each of our programs. We share about the Small Business Development Center and Discover Siskiyou. We share about some of our recent grant awards. But today, I just wanted to take a brief moment to really just focus on the actual strategy that we actually hold together. It's the idea that our staff is an extension of your work for businesses and for economic development. We're a team of 14 economic development specialists, and we meet regularly with city administration. We meet frequently with businesses, and we leverage research and funding to help provide a better business climate in Yreka specifically and across the county as well. And so every 5 years, we renew that strategy. So we work diligently with each city in terms of their vision and needs for economic development. And so this July 1st will be the renewal of the next 5-year term. So we've been operating underneath a memorandum of understanding for the last 4.5 years. And so we're preparing to enter into the next one. And so in this work over the next several months, we'll be meeting with city staff, local businesses, and stakeholders across the county to inform that strategy. And so you might not know it, but you experience the benefits of the strategy daily in the Small Business Development Center, in the Brownfields program, in some of the work in downtown. And the strategy as a whole both helps Yreka uniquely, but to unite the cities together really demonstrates unity and cohesion. And also when we seek funding for state and federal programs or projects like the Carnegie, when we demonstrate that we hold or we're part of a united plan, they trust us. And that really means a lot and helps us leverage our work forward so greatly. And so we look forward to the next couple months where we'll be developing our next plan and coming to city for approval for that for the next 5-year term. So if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask any of our team about that, or city manager Ledbetter as well. And so this has been work that's been established in Siskiyou County for about 40 years. And we're just really proud to carry the work forward. We're probably operating with the largest budget to date ever for the Siskiyou Economic Development Council. And this work starts with your investment, and we could not do the portion of work that we do without it. So yeah, I'm just really proud to share an overview of that idea or concept we'll be working on the next several months. So Quentin will share in detail about the Small Business Development Center and some exciting things coming. Discover Siskiyou is here regularly sharing the outcomes of their support in the community. They mention frequently that we can measure attendance, we can measure visitation through the program Placer. So we continue to use that as a great tool when Discover Siskiyou comes and reports. And that's brought us a lot of great intel and information on some of the event-based programs that we have supported. And other things that I could mention, yeah, we're just really excited about what is coming in Yreka. The street project on Main Street we know has had challenges, but overall we think that's going to provide a really valuable footprint in the future. And our brownfields work is highly embraced by the city of Yreka. And our team is agile and diligent in assisting with the initial assessment and survey of sites that might need cleanup. And those opportunities with the EPA continue to get more and more flexible in terms of what that funding can help support. So that's really, really exciting part of our work that we're proud of, that Yreka has been a great supporter of. So that is my Major League Baseball introduction to Quentin, who is going to share some great details about our specific business work. I do want to mention often in our work, they ask for our work to align with a plan. And there are several kinds of plans that we present forward. And so we have presented our own economic development plan that we share as evidence of what we do as being seated underneath the plan. The comprehensive economic development plan is a regional plan that includes several counties. We've cited that plan. But recently, I just want to share how we have had some really great success citing the RERC plan, the outdoor recreation plan that the city helped just sort of, I guess, embrace. And so that source of funding offered a $10,000, I'm just going to call it an injection of funding opportunity. And we applied for that. 4 communities were awarded. We were one of them. And that was directly tied to the RERC plan, which is really just interesting, just an example of that good work going forward. And so we wrote for a $10,000 grant to be allocated to a business that really embraces outdoor recreation economy in Yreka, and that was the Jefferson Bike Company. And so that was just a really exciting addendum to that work that we were proud of. $10,000 in the hand of a business is good work. But Quentin's going to talk about something much larger, which is exciting. So Quentin Gaddy. Quentin.
Thank you, Corey.
Cool. Yeah, so I don't know who hasn't driven through town in the last couple of months and like been pretty frustrated. I've definitely let out a few expletives when I missed a turn or turned down a road and then had to turn back around. And so that's the chatter going on right now. It's Main Street construction and everyone's chatting about it. It's on Grapevine. It's starting to impact businesses as it's starting to move down towards Overland. And it's significant. It is really having a big impact. And so it took a while for us to get our contract, but I can say that we are now able to start work on developing a business mitigation program. I don't know if y'all remember when I came here last May, I want to say, to seek your approval to get CDBG funding for that. And well, we were awarded. We got $750,000, the vast majority of that, which is going to go directly to businesses. And so now the work's on my plate to build a program. And so that's what I'm doing. So I've got a very hefty list of to-do list items that I have to stack out in front of me. So I don't want to give a definitive promise a date of when I'm going to open applications. I'm going to work diligently with city staff on making sure that we build the guidelines for the program so that it is equitable and it is focused on a targeted area of where it's most impacted. And so we're going to have to, be very, very careful with how we legally structure that, in terms of listing out, which businesses are going to be eligible on which streets, which addresses, during which times of the year, et cetera. But we do have, quite a significant amount of funds to dole out. And what we're fixing to do is to sort of structure this basically after the PPP program that came out during COVID. And so I'm looking to provide in this program about 3 months of operating expenses for businesses who are qualified who apply. What are the conditions of these funds? Well, they're going to have to be used on operating expenses, and you can kind of couch those out into 3 main buckets. The first is going to be your payroll expenses, and this is where the vast majority of funds ought to be going, is to be maintaining staff. All businesses who receive funds will have to demonstrate that they are retaining their payroll, and that is going to be a requirement. They'll all have to sign documents, and they'll have to prove that with payroll reports upon receipt of funds. So that's going to be the biggest condition right there. It's a CDBG national objective. It's called the low moderate job objective. So 51% of these jobs that are retained, or of the jobs that are retained, at least 51% need to be reserved for low to moderate income folks. While that kind of, that type of means testing can kind of sound steep, if you've got part-time people working, you're going to meet that requirement. You got someone working the cashier 20 hours a week, they're going to meet that requirement. So it's actually not that steep. Second thing is, your rent, mortgage, things like that. Those would be allowable costs. And then the third would be your things like utilities, overhead, license fees, inventory costs, things like that. So they're not going to be able to, receive funds and then go spend it on investing in, some type of new piece of equipment, unfortunately, or furniture or paint jobs or things like that. The funds need to be directed towards their workers, towards their operating expenses. And we think, just based on what I've seen in construction timetable so far, I think 3 months is going to be a fair amount for those amounts. They're going to be capped at $35,000. That's the public benefit amount per CDBG national guidelines. So that's not something I decide, that gets decided in Washington, D.C. And so those will be the amounts there. What I want to express the most is that we're not just going to create an application and create a fund and drop it and say, all right, everyone, good luck. There are some steep requirements, that are going to be needed to be attained by businesses. They're going to have to register on sam.gov. This is a federal requirement. Unfortunately, can't get around that. So a lot of businesses are going to need help with that. They're going to have to, be able to pull their income statements year to date and their last year. And we're going to have to actually look, okay, what does 3 months of operating expenses actually look like? How do we document that? So for folks who do need help with the application when it is available, we'll be able to help them at the Small Business Development Center. They'll be able to sign up as a client. This is cost-free to them, so they won't have to pay a single penny, but they will have to give us their time, and they will have to, we can't do it for them, but we can help them do it. And so we'll be building out an application. This will be encrypted. It'll be online, so it'll be easily accessible for folks, and they can upload all their documents to it. Everything will be protected because we will have a lot of personal information. So we have to keep a lot of that under lock and key. But we're basically going to be requiring from businesses their application, their tax returns, their projected expenses, their payroll reports, a copy of their lease and or mortgage, things like that. And then on the back end, I'll create all the budgets, all the trackers, all the invoices, all the documents that we need to have to be in compliance with HCD, who's the funding agency at the state of California. And how the process will work basically is the EDC will be running all these applications. We'll receive them, we'll review them. I'll be working with one of my SBDC advisors as the main underwriter for these applications. And then once everything checks out, we've got all the documents squared away, the NEPA reports, the invoices, et cetera. We'll all get them signed by City Yreka Finance Department, and then they'll be issued as invoices to the City Yreka. The city will then issue payment to the business owners in reimbursement of their operating expenses. And then I'll compile all those reports together, send it up to the state for reimbursement. State usually only takes 30 to 45 days to reimburse those funds, so it shouldn't be a stress on the cash flow for the city. But also we're not going to try to do all of these at once. This isn't a program you can cut corners on. You have to really, really go with a fine-tooth comb through tax returns, through payroll reports to really make sure that there's no waste, fraud, or abuse. That's one of our chief concerns. So, well, I didn't want to give a date. I did want to say it will be within the next couple of months at the absolute latest, if not within the next month. I am kind of full steam ahead. This is my #1 priority project right now. And if there are any questions, comments, concerns on the program and what's going to go on, please direct them to me at the EDC, Quentin@siskiyoucounty.org. Or folks can take down my phone number, just for public record. My cell phone is 530-925-3081. And you can also find me on Facebook. I have been monitoring the grapevine. If folks have been commenting about it, I say, hey, I got something coming, reach out to me when time comes. Where do you guys step in? If you know businesses that are hurting, places that you're shopping at, that you're going around, this goes for everyone in the audience as well. Say that, hey, there's going to be something that's going to be available. You don't have to bear all this burden. We do see the value in this road improvement project. It is going to be a significant investment that pays dividends for years and years and years to come, but there's going to be growing pains associated with that. And so we want to ameliorate those growing pains, make sure that businesses don't close unnecessarily because of this. So like I said, anyone that that may be impacted, send them over to us. We're working on getting this up and running as soon as possible. Other than that, I can give my own shtick. I run the Small Business Development Center. I'm Mr. Small Business in Siskiyou County. I help you with your setting up payroll, getting incorporated with the state, getting up to date on your sales tax, whatever it might be. So we do have a full suite of small business services, aside from this program, that we also offer cost-free to small businesses. And so the challenge is that a lot of folks don't know about this. We're often called the best kept secret. And that's something that's a reputation I'm trying to destroy here. So if you know businesses, those who can benefit, send them our way. We'll take them. Thank you.
Thank you, Quentin. All right. Wait for everybody to clear out there. All right. On to item number 3, this is public comments. Public participation is welcome and invited to all city council meetings. This time is set aside for residents to address the city council on matters listed on the consent agenda, as well as other items not included on the regular agenda. If your comments concern an item noted on the regular agenda, please address the council when that item is open for public comment. The city requests that persons addressing the city council refrain from making personal, slanderous, profane, and disruptive remarks. Council members, when recognized by the mayor, may ask clarifying questions of the presenter, but no action may be taken by the city council during the public comment section of the meeting. Under the Brown Act, the city council is prohibited from discussing or taking action on any item not listed on the posted agenda. This time is set aside for residents to address the city council on matters listed on the consent agenda, as well as other items not included on the agenda. If your comments concern an item listed under the public hearing or new business section of the agenda, please address the council when that item is open for public comment. Please speak into the microphone at the podium. The podium electronically adjusts up and down to accommodate the speaker. Please state your name for the record prior to providing your comments. Please address the council as a whole. If you have documents to present, please provide a minimum of 7 copies. These become public record. Please limit your remarks to 5 minutes. Since council is unable to take action on issues not on the agenda, your matter may be referred to staff for follow-up or placed on a future agenda. Public comment period is not intended to be a question and answer period or conversations with the council or city staff. Do you have any public comment at this time?
Mariachi. I do have a comment. When you're going to go turn right onto Moonlit Oaks, if you want, it used to be that you could just go straight, and now it's a right only, but you don't see that until you're boom right there. And a lot of people are getting thrown right now. Of course, it's dead end, but before that, like I almost got run over because I didn't realize that somebody was just gonna zip right in front of me. I thought it was turn right now. So that sign needs to be turned way back also. It needs to be way back. Like if you look in Oregon, you got a sign way up here where you can see a good 1/4 of a mile before you get that. I'm not requesting that, but I am requesting that it be further back so that you know what you're doing before you get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Don Marie. Any other public comments? All right, I will close public comment and go to item number 4. This is a consent agenda. All items listed under consent agenda are considered routine and non-controversial and will be enacted by one motion unless any member of the council wishes to remove an item for discussion. A, approval, ratification of payments issued from August 29th, 2023 through September 8th, 2023. B, approval of minutes of the regular meeting held September 5th, 2023. C, the appointment of Dalton Landrum as a volunteer to the Yreka Fire Department. D, motion to authorize mayor to sign a contract for services agreement between the city and Siskiyou County Health and Human Services Agency for homeless liaison services. E, waive full text reading of all ordinances on the agenda. Ordinances shall be introduced and adopted by title only. The recommended city council action before you is the motion to adopt consent agenda of the city council of the city of Yreka as presented. What are the wishes of the council?
I'll make the motion as I said, stated. Thank you.
Okay. I have the motion from Councilman Kaeg,
This is Councilman McCoy. I'll second that motion.
and I have a second from Councilman and Pro Tem McCoy. I'll go for roll call. Councilman Kaeg,
Aye.
Councilman Davis,
Aye.
Pro Tem Councilman McCoy,
Aye.
and Mayor will be aye. The motion passes 4-0, and Davis, I'm sorry, Baker is absent. Thank you. All right, old business. This is City Manager, the Human Resources Director. This is titled Second Reading and Adoption of Proposed Ordinance 875 of the City Council of the City of Yreka, amending Chapter 2.10 Employees Personnel System and Chapter 2.50 of the Nepotism.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is John Elsnab. I'm the HR director for the city. For the agenda title tonight, second reading of ordinance 875. To give a summary on the staff report, the first reading of ordinance number 875 was held at a regular city council meeting on September 5th, 2023. The initial reading proposed revisions to the city's municipal code for chapter 2.10 employee personnel system and chapter 2.50 nepotism, which is intended to align with the recently adopted personnel rules for the city. Following the introduction of the ordinance at the September 5th, 2023 meeting, city staff believes the proposed revisions are in the best interest of the city, and the ordinance has been reviewed by the city attorney pursuant to chapter 1.24.270 ordinances, resolutions, and contracts. There's no direct fiscal impact by amending the city's municipal code, and the recommended action would be for city staff recommends adoption of ordinance 875 of the city council, city of Yreka, for chapter 2.10 and chapter 2.50. With that said, is there any questions?
I will open up for questions to the public. Okay. No questions? Have any questions from our council members? No? All right. So, sorry. The recommended city council action is the motion to adopt ordinance number 875, an ordinance of the city council, of the city of Yreka, California, amending chapter 2.10 to the Yreka Municipal Code.
It keeps going. I'm sorry. There's on the next page.
Oh, entitled, there we go. I'm what? Sorry about that. It does. Entitled Employee Personnel System in chapter 2.50 nepotism and finding the ordinance exempt from CEQA. Okay, sorry about that. What are the wishes of the council?
Councilman McCoy will move that we accept the motion as written.
All right, I have a motion to accept from Councilman McCoy
I'll second it.
and a second from Councilman Kaeg. I'll take roll call. Councilman Kaeg,
Aye.
Councilman Davis,
Aye.
Councilman McCoy,
Aye.
and I will be aye. Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you, council members. Have a good evening.
Thank you, John.
Bye, John.
Okay. So now we have number 6, public hearings. This is a public hearing. Jason, do you have anything to say?
On the public hearing, no, we have, I
I'm
think,
available.
yeah, everybody is aware. I just came from the state planning conference in Fresno, and Juliana remains there and finished it out, but she will be leading this item.
Okay, so I will open up the public hearing, and then we'll go to Juliana for the report. Hello.
I apologize. Would you like me to give the report and then open the public hearing, or?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Am I clear for everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, city council members. On your docket today is a tentative parcel map that was submitted by the Evans Family Properties LLC for assessors parcel numbers 061-301-010, 061-301-060, and 061-301-240 within the city of Yreka. In terms of the location of these parcels, this is Butcher Hill. And this encompasses the majority of the parcels that face to the west of Butcher Hill. So this is a interesting project in terms of it's really not proposing to change anything structurally or physically on the properties itself. And so the Planning Commission did adopt a Class 15 categorical exemption to the California Environmental Quality Act, also known as CEQA, and did recommend approval to you of the tentative parcel map with the attached conditions. They did that at their regular meeting dated August 16, 2023, unanimously with one absence. And so this is what we would consider a cleaning up of the chain of title. So at one point, this is a 99.1 acre parcel. At one point, they did apply for a tentative parcel map to separate it into 3 parcels, but the tentative parcel map at that time, either at the city or assessor level, was not properly updated. And so what the applicant is proposing to do is to clean up the title, chain of title. I hope Dan Wallace, the surveyor on record, is available for you if you have any technical questions. But really what they're proposing to do is what they had thought they had done several years ago, which is, excuse me, separate it into one 43.28 acre parcel and one 55.82 acre parcel. There is an existing single family residence on the property in the R1 or low density general plan land use designation and zoning code designation portion of the parcel. And the other M1 light industrial portion is on the northern portion. That would be the new proposed parcel 2. And so there's no proposed change in the current zoning or land use designation for this property. They just wish to clean up the title and the map so that it is properly recorded for any potential future sales that could happen on the property. And I will open it up for comments. Again, we recommend as city staff, as does the planning commission, to approve the proposed resolution 2023-45 with the conditions outlined in attachment 3. And so we do have that available for you today.
Thank you, Juliana. Does the city council have any questions for the staff at this time? No? Okay. Okay, great. I will open up the public hearing. The public wanting to comment will come to the podium, provide the city clerk with their name and address and provide their comments. Does anybody have any comments? Okay, I will close the public hearing. Anybody have any deliberate on the item before you? No, okay. Okay, great. So the recommended city council action is the motion to adopt resolution 23-45, a resolution of the city council of the city of Yreka approving a tentative parcel map number 2022-52 of the subdivision of 199.1 acre parcel into 2 parcels with conditions. What are the wishes of the council?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
So stated.
All right. I have a motion by Councilman Kaeg.
I'll second that motion.
All right. And I have a second from Councilman Davis. I'll do roll call. Councilman Kaeg.
Aye.
Councilman Davis.
Aye.
Councilman Pro Tem McCoy.
Aye.
And I will be aye. The motion passes 4-0. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right. Wow, this is moving really fast. We're already here. City manager staff report. Mr. Ledbetter.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Yreka City Council. This is Jason Ledbetter, the city manager for the city of Yreka. The first thing I want to just bring to everyone's attention, and I want to personally thank our Public Works Director, Matt Bray, and his road crew, including Ben Miller, for the safety and beautification improvements to Minor Street. There was a fog seal and striping that was done. This is the brainchild of Matt. For many, many years, he's wanted to make an improvement like this. And so we've had a number of accidents at the corner of Minor and Oregon. And I am very satisfied with the way that this has turned out. And hopefully everybody else in the community can see how beautiful it made the street and actually the buildings as well. So very happy with that. I attended the COC meeting on 9/6/23. Attended the finance committee meeting on 9/7. The county is working currently on getting a monthly contract for recurring shower and laundry truck services for the unhoused population, and the city is working to facilitate this. I will have a call with Dr. Sarah Collard tomorrow for the first one, but it sounds like we had public works staff meet with Sarah Collard from the county and Madeline Bryan and the contractor that has the vehicle or the truck to facilitate this. And so we will be facilitating what the needs are in order for this to happen here in the city. Met with members of the public who are interested to have the Yreka Stands Against Hate proclamation adopted again this November by City Council. So you can anticipate that that will be coming to you guys once again. And then finally, as I stated before, I did attend the state planning conference in Fresno that took place from 9/16 to 9/19. Returning today, it's the only organization that I am familiar with that likes to meet on the weekend, and so that was interesting. I'm back. I would say really the big rollouts here are things that we've been hearing for a couple years now, but DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I went to a very interesting panel on neurodivergent planning for transportation that specifically was looking at autism and kind of the redundancies that should be planned or thought out when you look at a transportation system. And so what it turns out to be in this instance, there's talking about just basic things where you can take where the bus is going, the route of the bus, and have it on a large poster posted on the actual bus, and then multiple locations near the bus stop. And so I think the real takeaway from DEI or in this neurodivergent planning seminar that I went to is that in general, when you take perspectives from other people that normally may not have a say in the planning phase of a project, what you end up getting is a project that actually facilitates everybody and makes everybody happy, because having a bus schedule on the outside of a bus and redundancy with that posted near the bus stop benefits all of us, not those that possibly really need it. So housing and rehab tour I went on in the downtown corridor of Fresno. In my personal opinion, it's 500,000 people, but it certainly seems to be making a jump into a metropolitan area. And I would say that once the high-speed rail connection, phase one they're currently working on, that really just connects Fresno and Merced. But once that is complete, where Southern California and the Bay Area roll through Fresno, I think that we're going to see an exponential boom in population on the 99 corridor. And they are currently planning for 10,000 housing units in their downtown currently in Fresno. So that was very fascinating. Went to a seminar on VMT. You'll hear that quite a bit. Vehicle miles traveled, and really how the Caltrans metrics need to be changed to apply VMT to projects in rural areas. Because generally speaking, projects that get funded by Caltrans reduce vehicle miles traveled. But when you're in a rural community like ours, when you make improvements on the freeway, it doesn't change the miles travel needed that we all still commute. And so there was a panel just discussing that. And so Caltrans was there. Our rep from District 2 was there. So she seems very motivated and very open to changes like this. And then finally, I attended a seminar about the high-speed rail update, which still is actually happening. I have not been to Fresno. This was my first time. And so there's infrastructure that has actually been laid for this rail, and they're still highly focused just on the Merced and Fresno connections at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ledbetter. All right, so for the city council members for, what's that? Oh, sorry, let's pass right by. You guys, any reports up there? Up on our bleachers? I know, they never want to accommodate me. They always decline me up there. They're good? We're good. All right. All right, we'll go to council members for staff reports. Mr. Davis, any reports for us? All right, that was simple. Council McCaig.
I won't be quite as quiet, sorry.
Oh. There's a shocker.
So it's tentative.
Just kidding.
Actually, quite a few different meetings, but we'll start off with on 9/7, the fire ad hoc committee meeting with Chief Lemus, CAL FIRE, and a number of team players for the city. It was very good. I think we got some good input from especially CAL FIRE and some representatives there on how to move forward on this tax initiative that Chief Lemus was talking about, and really good response. I think the main thing that we took away from that meeting was really just getting everybody on board, get the city citizens on board, and getting outlining areas on board too, because a lot of people come to Yreka to shop. And I think, what was the percentage that we heard? It was like 60% of the tax base comes from the outside source or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a rough estimation on our part, but that's roughly.
So even though citizens of Yreka would be voting on this tax initiative, we still want to be able to get everybody on outlining areas on board too, because our fire station benefits everybody. It doesn't just benefit the city of Yreka, it benefits Montague, benefits Grenada, benefits all the outlining areas, Hawkinsville and everybody. So by helping Yreka, it's helping out outlining areas. So we can keep our community safe. We're going to keep outlying communities safe. And we got to figure too that we have one of the biggest infrastructures, looking at, we have the Forest Service here, we have the county here, so we have different businesses, different entities here that support Yreka. So being able to have those guys here and spend money here is very crucial to Yreka area. So I think that we're moving in a good motion on trying to get this public awareness out there. Chief Lemus made a good point, and I want to share that with everybody. Was it July that you said that was 180 calls? Was that? Yes. So in July, in the month of July, they had 180 calls. 136 of those calls were med calls. So that's a lot. And that's why our guys are getting burnt out so bad, is because they're doing all these medical calls and they're really not, prepared for that. They got to be doing this in the evening times. And I mean, what was BJ saying, that he had to go out that one night 4 times in one night for medical calls? So that's really hard on those guys, and that's why they're getting burnt out. So that's why we're losing a lot of our volunteer base, because they're doing stuff that they really, don't want to be doing. In a sense, they want to be fighting fires. They don't want to be necessarily doing a medical call every 10 minutes. So we need to address that on how we fix that problem. But like I said, we're moving in a good direction, and thank you, Chief Lemus, for all that good hard work, and our city staff for bringing that together. Jason did a great job. Thank you. Thank you. And I think we're moving in the right direction, but I think when is it? Do we ever decide on a next meeting on that?
No, we're still in the process of finalizing. Assistant City Manager Retta Hogan and I have 2 more meetings that will take place internally, and then we will schedule the next ad hoc.
Okay, great. Thank you. I had already had citizens wanting to be there and get involved, so I think that's great. Getting back to what you said earlier about Minor Street, that does. Thank you, Matt Bray. Make sure you thank him for me. That is, Minor Street looks awesome. It is beautiful. I've already had a lot of people comment on how good it looks and how identified the crosswalks are and everything. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts where you're going to be parked, where you can park and where you can't park, and where the crosswalks are and where they're not. I mean, it's good. It looks awesome. The business owners on Minor Street should be very happy too, I would imagine. Going to the kids block party, I know that was a big success. I didn't actually get to attend it, even though I wanted to. My wife did, and Rebecca, the young gal that's living with us, and took her young son Alacoy to it, and he had a blast. So it was definitely well received, and I think a lot of kids had a good time on that one. Today I had my point in time committee meeting, and the point in time committee meeting voted unanimously to not do a unsheltered count this year because it's not mandatory. So did our COC, our local Siskiyou County COC, also unanimously said no point in time count for the unsheltered. Now we are going to be doing a sheltered count. That's mandatory, but there will be no unsheltered count this year as of now. The executive board still has to vote on it, but it's more than likely it's going to go that direction because it's not mandatory this year. But there will be a good chance that we'll do some type of resource fair during that timeline, which would be in January or somewhere around there. We haven't picked a time on that yet, so I'm sure our next meeting that we'll be deciding that. And in regards to that, because of Shasta County was kind of the lead agency on all of this point in time count and everything that we kind of do as a COC. They're not out of the picture right now, but they're not basically the lead agency anymore. So the point in time count, as far as the committee, now fell on Siskiyou County as being the lead agency right now as doing that. So poor Madeline from our county and I got thrown in the whole pile of this. So now we get to run it for all the 7 counties of the North State for the time being, probably till the end of the year on this one. So on organizing the meetings and getting all the information and everything else. So that was kind of a shocker for me. It's going, okay, this is great. We already have enough on our plate, and now they're throwing this on ours. So, but we had a meeting today. Everything went smooth. Actually, it went super quick. With Madeline and I ran it. We were done in 30 minutes, which is unheard of. So it actually went really well. If anybody's interested, these are public meetings too, our point in time count meetings. So you can come by my shop. It's publicly open for those meetings, or the county is also open. The next meeting will be on October 17th. And then one after that's October 21st, and then December 19th. But the next one is October 17th at 1 o'clock. If anybody's interested, you can, like I said, show up at my shop at Siskiyou Builders Exchange office there on Fairlane, 2121 Fairlane Road. It's open to the public. Let's see what else I better get going so everybody else can go. So it's a nice short meeting. We want to keep it short. That looks like about it. I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Kay. Councilman Pro Tem McCoy.
Yeah, I'll try and keep it short. I do want to piggyback on what city manager and Councilman Keg said, that the street looks great on Minor Street. It also is traffic calming. I've noticed that when I've been down there for lunch, that people are slowing down and they can see where they can and cannot park because of the way it's marked. Up at the top of French and Jackson, there's more Measure C money being spent on our roads, and our roads are being fixed up. They look really nice. I appreciate the fact that South Oregon has gotten patched. So that'll get us through the winter, and they're working on that. So I want to thank them very much for that. I want to thank Quentin and Corey for being here and giving us an update. And I actually have been sharing with people for about the last 6 weeks that there is going to be a program starting. And I do see it on Grapevine a lot, and I'm getting, I mean, it's not like I'm getting 1,000 phone calls, but I do get phone calls or people that, we see and they want to know, is there anything we can do? I do want to also thank Corey and Quentin and their staff, because as Corey said, the Brownfields, the state Brownfields Act, we work as a city through you guys, and you guys have been wonderful with, with some properties here that aren't necessarily city properties. There might be other properties. And I know the state likes to see that we're cleaning up those areas that are, that have issues. And I know we have one going on right now on South Foothill. So we appreciate your help with that as well, and working with our city manager, who I appreciate all you're doing. And then finally, this is just something personal, but that is, I was in Hanford 2 weeks ago and I got to see what I thought was a new freeway. And then my friend from high school told me, oh no, that's the railway to nowhere. And I said, the what? He goes, that's the high-speed rail. He goes, those things have been there for 3 years now. And it's all 30 feet off the ground. And it just goes through the farmers' fields, and then they're farming their alfalfa around it. So it's quite interesting, because I honestly did think it was a new freeway. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman McCoy. All right, just a couple things for me. Is I don't sound like a broken record, but Minor Street does look great, and been seeing a lot of compliments on it. So yeah, our town's looking really good on our side streets with our city staff. So thank you, everybody. And I know we're still dealing with our main street construction, and we will be for quite some time. So everybody have a little patience. But what I can do to say also, the assistance that is out there for business owners, but just please support our businesses on Main Street. I know it's hard to get to them, but please find the route into their entrance, and please continue to support them. Don't give up, because they count on it and they're feeling it. So please support our Yreka businesses, even though it is difficult to get in there, because they're counting on us, and that's what's going to help them. Besides the help that the economic development will offer them, is going in and spending money still when it's not as easy to get into their location, is the number one thing we can do for them, is to support them. And with that said, I did reach out to Jason, and he reached out for me on my behalf and for the city council to have Caltrans come and give us an update of coming into the fall in the end of the season to see where they're at with the project. And they will be setting a date on a future council meeting. I don't think they've confirmed yet, but they are.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I think I gave them October and November, so we should be seeing them kind of coinciding with their construction season ending.
Yes, so they will be coming in before the city council meeting, give us an update on what they completed this year. where they're at, where they're going to be coming, what they're going to be doing for the winter, if anything, and will they'll be coming back in spring, hopefully. So we'll have an idea for our citizens and our businesses from Caltrans coming up at a future meeting. Let's see. I did speak to Molly from United Against Hate. Spoke to her for quite a while. Had a great conversation with her, and so she'll be coming back. And let's see here. I think that's about it for me. So appreciate everybody coming, and have a good evening. All right, meeting adjourned.
Tomorrow night, you're gonna be official?
I think it's a record since I've been here for 3 years. Yeah.